Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. It's La Liga. It's week 28. International break next week. So that means the big guns are all playing away from home. They have to get the job done. And there's unbelievable value if you stick them together or do what I've done. And I've gone with individuals. I've got Martin and I've got Euan from La Liga Lowdown. And as we always say when Euan's on the show, he is the best of La Liga Lowdown. Had a bad week last week. But if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that I'll notify you. And I've got plenty to notify you about because we've got the Masters coming up. We've then got unbelievable draw this morning, Champions League. Then we've got Europa League. And then we'll be back to domestic action before you know it. Press the link in the description. Take you over to articles wrote by either Martin or Tan or Alex. But every other sport that we cover here on SBR Video is accompanied by an article. And there's sports that we don't cover on video that we do cover on article form. So go over, have a good read, and please put your thumb up. Show us a bit of appreciation because YouTube love that. I don't care, but YouTube, they love it. And also it shows a bit of appreciation for both Martin and Euan. Euan, welcome back, sir. Good to have you on the show. Strange results last week, and our record will prove that in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird weekend. Hardly any goals as well. Lots of 0-0s. Not much value if you were picking the overs last weekend, but yeah, some strange fixtures, some strange matchups. We had a couple of derbies last weekend. That always makes things a bit more tense, doesn't it? So this weekend, not so many derbies, just the one, I think. A little Bass derby on Saturday. The big teams, they have some pretty winnable games, but I think we've got some good value, I think, just because they're on the road. So yeah, let's get to it and see what we've got.
Yeah, Martin, you don't very often have a very tough week, but last week was probably the toughest.
Yeah, it was a tough week, Flash. I got Real Madrid to beat Elche in under 3.5 goals at even money, but everything else fell apart. I thought Valencia could get a result against Levante. They didn't. I thought Atletico Madrid would beat Getafe. They didn't. And someone else let me down as well. I think it was probably
Sevilla?
Sevilla. No, I didn't bet on Sevilla. I did bet on Sevilla in midweek, actually. I had Sevilla in under 4.5 goals against Elche in midweek. Put a big bet on that, and that just brought me back up into profit. So I was pleased to see that. But yeah, last weekend was challenging. Hopefully it'll be a bit better one this time around. I've gone for fewer tips. I'm looking forward to that Basque derby. But yeah, there's some interesting games and looking forward to breaking them down with you guys.
Yeah, and there's some sides that have no longer got their eye on Europe, and there's some that have got it. But the big guns, they have got to chase down Atletico. And Atletico looked to me as they're just having a little wobble before we go into the games, and we'll start with Betis. Let's have a look at the records, please, Esteban. Here we go. Martin, plus 11.57. That looks brilliant. It is brilliant, but it was at really nearly 15 last week. La Liga Lowdown, minus 14.49. That's all Paco and Roman. Euan's done his best to keep that as low as possible. I'm minus 2 now, which is not so bad considering everyone had a bad week last week. I think I lost 0.9 units. Parlay, he needs to sort himself out again. He's been having a little recovery, took his foot off the gas. He's now minus at 9, but 14.25. That's nearly 12.5 units down from last week. Let's kick straight on. Betis, minus 112. Euan, draw plus 280. Levante, plus 370. Levante score nearly every week, but like last week, they kept a clean sheet, and that froze us.
Yeah, that was the one, wasn't it? Levante they're scoring goals, they concede goals. They're the team that you always want to bet both teams to score and maybe add the result as well. But that's kind of what I was saying at the top. Was last week was a bit strange because of the derbies. They were playing Valencia in a derby. They beat them for the first time in 5 years. So I think they changed a little bit the way they approached that game. They got the early lead and then they went defensive. And Valencia, I don't know quite what they were playing at, but they changed their system to back three. Diakabi had a terrible game, nothing going for them. So I think that win was obviously huge for Levante, but you can sort of write that off as a bit of a strange circumstances because it was such a unique and important game. This week, I'm back all in on the Levante scoring goals, conceding goals train. Remember, this fixture earlier in the season was 4-3 to Levante when they played Betis. These are two teams that score goals, concede goals, and I think you can go for the overs in this one because you look just at the last few results that they've had when they played. It was 4-3 last time. The time before that was 4-2, 3-1, 4-0, 3-0. these teams, they score goals when they play each other. They score goals when they play most teams. So I'm going for the overs in this one because I expect Friday night will start with some goals like we didn't have last week.
Levante are loving a Friday night game, by the way. But yeah, both teams to score. Alex Classic. Don't worry about the win side of things, Martin.
Yeah, I was really tempted. I was looking at this game for ages, thinking I would like to go for both teams to score. Just like Euan said, it's the 1-0 results last weekend that have deterred me this time around. Actually, just looking, only in 2 of the last 5 Real Betis games has both teams to score paid off, and in 2 of the last 5 Levante games. So there have been a few nils dotted about. I really hope we get back to an entertaining game here. It's a big Friday night game. You would expect these two to go at it hammer and tongs. Hope both teams to score comes in. Was thinking about it, but I've left this one alone.
Okay, well, you can leave that game alone. But the next one, I pressed a button and I took the button off and I thought I'll wait and to speak to Euan, and I'll come to you first, Martin, so that Euan has the final say because it's his team. It's Athletic Club at -120. Looks like a trap. Draw at +270. Eibar +380. I can only be with a home side and a comfortable win.
Yeah, I'm going with the home side in this one. They have been pretty strong at home this season. And
recently as well. They seem to have stepped up a notch.
Yeah, well, their form has improved tremendously since Marcelino took the reins. They're going great guns in the cup competitions. But yeah, I think they're going to want to assert a bit of regional dominance over Eibar. They have a good record against Eibar. And yeah, I think they can win this one. The only danger is that Eibar do seem to pick up all their points on the road this season. And they probably will be fired up for this derby. But still, I think the superior quality of Athletic Club should shine through. And I think they should be reasonably fit and ready to go for this game. So I've gone for just gone for the home win, and I got -115 on that yesterday.
No, yeah, listen, it's unbelievable. I took a mean here because there was some at -115, there was some at -125, so I've just put it down as -120. Euan, Eibar are your side. They do get most of their points on the road, but surely they're going to come up short against this Athletic Club, who are really, they seem to have found a new confidence and a new energy going forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the road, but only just. It's about a 15-minute drive away. So this is the only derby fixture we've got this weekend. So if anyone's wanting to avoid these kind of strange fixtures where maybe there's that extra tension, then this is the one to circle this weekend. But as much as I love my Eibar, I just can't back them. They're in terrible form, lowest scorers in the league. They've not won any of their past 10 in La Liga. They've also not won any of their past 10 against Atletico over the years. It's a fixture they really do struggle with. They prefer the other derby against Real Sociedad. I think stylistically it suits them better. So I think Athletic are the clear favourites in this one, and maybe even a 1-0 could be an interesting bet. I don't know exactly if we have the odds there for that, but with Eibar being the lowest scorers in the league, Athletic at home playing well, maybe they win this 1-0, 2-0, something pretty simple to start off their Saturday and to compound Eibar's misery for that short trip back home.
Euan request Athletic win 0. Come on, Nilo. Come on, Barca man. Get it in the chat. Also,
I've looked it up and it's 2.75, which is plus
175. Well, that also brings in my selection of this game, and it's Athletic Club to win and under 3.5. I think you don't need to go as high as 4.5, but if you can give me the price on Athletic Club to win and under 3.5, and then I'll just maybe have a little bit on the win to 0, but also on the win under 3.5, and maybe go with both. Now I'll come to you, Euan, because it's Celta up plus 375, draw plus 300, Madrid -125. I'm all over the visitors. They're going to be buzzing. I just see that Celta are just starting to run out of gas. Now, I know last year they got lucky. I mean, a deflected cross that went into the top corner of the far post, and it absolutely killed me. But I cannot get away from Madrid here. At -125, I was expecting to be at least -150.
Yeah, exactly. Confidence is high at Real Madrid. I just covered the Zidane press conference earlier in the day, and he was smiling. He doesn't often smile. He's been quite grumpy this season, but he was clearly in a good mood. I think
was that prior or after the Champions League draw?
This was after actually.
Funny that.
I think Liverpool, they were quite happy to avoid the big three in the Champions League draw.
Yeah.
So yeah, good mood at Real Madrid. Was at the game on Tuesday. Good mood around them after that, because I think there was just a sense of relief once they won. They had to get through the last 16 of the Champions League after going out at that stage 2 years in a row. Now they're in the quarters. There's just a real sense of optimism there. One more game to put in a bit of effort before the international break. I think they'll really go and do that. And, Casemiro, who's their most important player, remember, he was suspended midweek. So that means he has all the energy in the world for this one before the international break. So, yeah, I think Real Madrid are priced pretty well, to be honest. I think that's mostly just because they're on the road at the other side of the country. But Celta Vigo haven't been too great recently. Real Madrid were pretty comfortable winners against them at home earlier in the season. So I think this is a pretty good, just simple Real Madrid to win. Maybe put it on the parlay, because the value is pretty good, I think, for this pretty optimistic and motivated Real Madrid team to finish this stretch of the season with another win.
Euan, how impressed were you with Zidane's setup against Atalanta midweek? Because he got it 100% right. Very early on, it was like sit in, pass the ball, keep possession, and then just spring them.
Yeah, it was really impressive. It's been quite interesting, hasn't it? Zidane, when they won the 3 Champions Leagues in a row, it was 4-3-3 every single round, and it worked. But we saw in this tie, he had Isco as a false 9 in the first leg. Then he had the back 3 for the second leg. They kind of changed it in the first half. It was interesting sitting there when they scored the goal. You could see all the players, they all ran and celebrated with Benzema, the opening goal. There was one outfielder who didn't go and join the celebration. It was Varane. Zidane called him over and they had a chat for a good 30, 40 seconds or so. And Varane changed his position straight after that goal. So Zidane, he gets all the credit for being a great man manager. I think that's a disservice. He's a good tactician too. He's setting them up really well. Be interesting to see what they do this weekend if they go with that back 3 that worked well against Elche last weekend in the end, and that worked well against Atalanta, or if they go with the normal sort of 4-3-3 now that Casemiro's back. But yeah, Zidane's been earning his salary in the last few weeks. He's proven a few doubters wrong, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely, and they've got a winnable 2-legged tie against Liverpool coming up, but both sides will fancy they can win it. Martin, will we have to be patient, do you think, with Celta and Madrid, because Celta are going to sit back and maybe try and frustrate and then hit them on the break?
Yeah, perhaps. I do think Real Madrid have been reasonably solid in the last 2 games, despite conceding in both of them. The 3 at the back did work quite well with Ramos in between Nacho and Varane. I'm interested to see what sort of starting 11 he goes with in this one, because you've got to think that Kroos and Modric are overdue a rest at some point. But
they're going to go international break, aren't they? So they're going to get that rest.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't care what happens to them there when they're with their countries. Yeah, Casemiro, like Euan said, Casemiro was suspended, so he'll be fresh for the game. Obviously, Hazard's still out, but most of the big guns are back for Real Madrid now, and he's got a lot of options in attack. Vinicius Jr. was quality against Atalanta, and Rodrigo's back in contention. I think it was Vasquez and Asensio that scored against Celta Vigo earlier this season. It was a pretty comfortable win, and they're unbeaten in their last 13 games against Celta Vigo, so they're aiming to extend it to 14 now. 11 wins and 2 draws in that time, so history is very much on Real Madrid's side. They're still very much in contention for the title. You can get 6-1 on them winning the league, and they're only 6 points behind Atletico now, so I think there's still a motivation to push for it in La Liga. Yeah, I think they'll go on and win this game. The odds are very attractive on an away win for Real Madrid. Yeah, they've got a bit of travelling to do, but I got -118 on Real Madrid winning this game. I do feel like they could concede, so it's just down to whether they can score twice. And I think with Benzema, with Asensio, with Vinicius, I think they've got enough to score twice. I can see 2-1 to Real Madrid in this one.
Okay, Sadok's saying, who is at EM or McTear? Well, he's Euan. Go and have a look at all their work on at La Liga Lowdown. They do unbelievable work, and they're La Liga specialists. Hence the reason they're here giving us their views, and we really appreciate them as well. Next game, Martin, Huesca +160, draw +225, Osasuna +200. Good luck splitting these two up.
Yeah. I just took one look at this and just moved straight on. I want nothing to do with this game. Huesca were pretty impressive actually until coming up against a pretty rampant Barcelona side last time out. But yeah, I can't really work out Osasuna. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. Bit of a scrappy game, I think. Maybe you'd be looking at unders on total goals, but the value wasn't there for me, so I just left it alone.
Yeah, Euan, how do you split these two sides? Because Huesca got completely new DNA. They go forward. They don't want to sit back. They're almost throwing caution to the wind. And Osasuna, arguably, man for man, are the better unit.
Yeah, no, I did find some value, at least I think I did, with this game. I couldn't quite believe it, so I've gone for Huesca to win this game and over 2.5 goals, which was plus 520. I couldn't quite believe that and I think that goes back to Huesca's season-long stats. Their stats aren't good for scoring goals. They've not won many games, but as you mentioned, they've got this new DNA. Pacheta, the new coach, he's been there just over a month now. And we've seen they're so much more attacking. They're a team that if they don't change the way they play, they're going down. So they've become much more attacking. We even saw this in the Barcelona game. Barca won 4-1 because of some really special goals from Messi and Griezmann. But Huesca attacked them. Huesca had some chances in that game. And if you go back to the one a couple of weeks ago against Celta Vigo, they lost 4-3 to them at home. That was just a wild game where Huesca were far the better team. They just conceded some freak goals in that one as well. So I think they're going to come out at home knowing this is a beatable team. Osasuna, I think they're starting to feel like they're safe. They've got Chimi Avila coming back, actually, their star striker who's been out with a knee injury. One of each of his knees, actually, for just over a year. So I think Huesca can take advantage of this Osasuna side that might get a bit complacent. And I think there'll be some goals. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to put a unit on that because the value plus 520, Huesca to win, both teams to score. Reminds me a lot of their win against Granada 3-2 a few weeks ago at home. Let's see if something else happens there. Could be a bit of fun, I think, actually.
I'm like the old auctioneer. Sold. I'm in. I'm having a bit of your plus 520 Huesca. I'm going to add that at the end and I'll do it straight after the show. Huesca, come on then. Don't be winning 2-0, Ewan. Do not be winning 2-0 because it's hard enough to pick a winner. And then we've complicated it. I did that a couple of times last week. I had Sevilla to win the game and both teams to score at plus 250. And yeah, I could have just had Sevilla to win. Martin, we're going to leave that one. But the next game, Valladolid. In fact, I'll come to you, Ewan. Valladolid at plus 370. No, thank you. Draw plus 250. And Sevilla, I'm only concentrating on the league. Sevilla at minus 110. I'm not complicating this. Don't care if it's 1-0, 5-0, 4-3, 7-4. Sevilla at minus 110, they go in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sevilla, so consistent this season in the league in these kind of games. You know, they're not going to challenge for the title, but that's because they tend to lose against their closest rivals. They can't quite beat Barca or Atletico. But these bread and butter games that come every week, they've just been so good. Like that Elche one that Martin mentioned at the top. Elche midweek, team fighting for their lives, could be complicated. No, a simple 2-0 win. Sevilla did the business. So they even managed to rest a few players in that midweek game, give them a breather. So should be, again, full team out there. Sevilla is one of those teams that actually doesn't have too many internationals, even though they have lots of good players. So they can play their strongest team, go for it, leave every drop of sweat on the pitch before the break. And I think they'll do the business against Valladolid, who are one of the poorest teams in the division. Yeah, I think, like you say, don't complicate it. Valladolid have been capable of scoring this season, so it could be a Sevilla win with both of them scoring, but equally Sevilla have been good in defence. So I see Sevilla winning this, and I think this is also a good one to stick in a parlay.
Yeah, I think Sevilla, they shift the ball on them too quickly for me, Martin. They create their chances, and I listen, I wouldn't be surprised if they win 2-0 again.
Yeah, could well do. I hope they do for your sake.
No, I'm not complicating. They can win 8-5 for me. I'm not getting involved in that win 0 business anymore. Yeah,
it was a good win in midweek. I had them in unders, and it paid handsomely. Again, I'm still a little bit burnt by some of the results we've had recently. I know they responded with a victory over Elche, but lost to them at the start of the month. They had that meltdown against Barcelona, out of the Champions League. I know they can really focus their efforts on this tournament now, but yeah, I'm a little bit wary about Valladolid. They've had the week to rest. I think they'll give a good game here. I'm just a little bit nervous that it's going to finish in a draw. I've seen that quite a lot with Valladolid. I think it's just because they've busted my coupons so many times this season betting against Valladolid. So I'm not going to go for it this time. But I hope to see Sevilla maintain their winning ways and that it comes in for you guys.
Okay, well, we talked to last week about Getafe 0-0 being a coupon buster. And then they're now minus 110, draw plus 225, and Elche at plus 475. How are Getafe at that trappy little tempting price of minus 110 when they kept a clean sheet against the leaders and the champions elect, Martin?
It is a very attractive price on Getafe, isn't it? I mean, if you saw that price on Getafe last season, you'd be all over it.
Well, you wouldn't see it, would you? You wouldn't have seen it.
It's just been a really, really tough season for them. Again, another team, it's very difficult. You can't quite work them out. If you would have been betting on them to beat, teams and they just couldn't score. I think it was 7 games in a row or something. They went without scoring. Then they hammered Valencia, and then everyone expected them to get a result against Valladolid. They lost. Then everyone expected them to get battered by Atletico Madrid at the weekend. They held on for a 0-0 draw. It's like, how do you know what you're going to get from them? Elche fighting for their lives. I do think it's a good opportunity to bet on Getafe. You can get minus 105 on them, and they're playing against the team that had a midweek fixture that have lost 4 of their last 5 matches. So yeah, it does look like an appealing set of odds on Getafe. I'm just a bit nervous about betting on them when they're so unpredictable at the moment.
Well, you should be nervous. And why should he be nervous, Euan?
Yeah, I'm totally disagreeing. I'm going the opposite side. It's another just value just staring right at me one. We'll see when the picks come up later. But this week I've gone for 2 really big odds, and this one, Elche just to win, no complications, plus 475. You said I got it for 480 earlier in the week, and I just can't quite believe that price because Elche have been playing well in recent weeks. They're a bit like Huesca. They're another team that changed their coach recently. They've improved since then. The results haven't quite followed, but that's because they've had some tough games. They've obviously lost twice in the past week, but look at who they played. Sevilla and Real Madrid, both of them away, and they gave both of them a pretty good game. Even the Sevilla one, the second goal didn't come to quite late. So I really like what Elche are doing, but more than that, Getafe this week, I just can't bet on them for all the players they're missing. You look at the injuries they've got, Cucho, Cabaco, all of them are out injured, and they've got suspensions too. Damian Suarez and Alan Neom, both out suspended for this one. Neom with that terrible straight red tackle last week against Atletico. So that's their 2 maybe most important players on the right side. Both of them are missing. Jaime Mata, their starting striker, he's still suspended for a red card he got a couple of weeks ago. He had a 2-match ban. And then Cucurella, who's their best player by far, he's got a broken nose. It's not clear if he'll play. Probably he will with a face mask. But it's not 100% that he'll play either. So I just really like this one. A sleepy Sunday morning Getafe. We've seen that before where they get done. I just like Elche's odds on this because plus 480 for a team fighting for their lives to come and beat the lowest scoring team joint with Eibar in La Liga. I'm all in the Elche bandwagon for 1 week only.
Okay, and there's their 475 double chance is probably going to be what? Maybe plus 140?
105 plus 105.
So you're going to get even money
double chance,
for double chance as well.
Yeah.
Listen, there's going to be plenty of people that fancy that. Now you and
draw no bet was plus 310.
Wow.
Well. So some really good odds on Elche. I like it.
Yeah, so it's the away. Listen, let's stay off that Getafe train and let's cheer on Elche. You see what La Liga Lowdown have done? They've sent the big gun in this week. Go and erase them losses. Let's get these plus 500s, plus 480s.
Wipe it out in a week.
Yeah, don't worry. We won't be seeing him next week because it's International Week. But the week after, he will be back. We will request him. Okay, Valencia plus 110 and draw plus 250. Granada plus 285. Now we saw a little bit of fatigue in Granada for the last 20 minutes in last week's 1-0 victory over Sociedad. Then they had to travel and play Molde. They get beat. They look a little bit leggy again. Is this just one game too many in too short space of a time?
Yeah, I think it might be. But I mean, this is the thing. Granada always kind of come back and surprise you. But they've played so many games. They've played more games than anybody in Spain this season because remember they had to start Europa League qualifying from the first qualifying round. So And they've played so much football. They went quite far in the cup as well. They've had so many injuries of late. They've still got about 5 or 6 players out. So yeah, Granada just away at Valencia. This is, I think, a few weeks ago I was on, and it was Valencia against Celta Vigo, and I picked Valencia to win. And I think nobody wanted anything to do with Valencia, but I kind of made the point that every now and then Valencia get a 3 points to stay above relegation zone, and you look at the table and you think, how are Valencia so high up? I can't remember them winning. I think this is going to be one of those forgettable games. Valencia, Granada, not too interesting, but it's one of those ones that they win and you almost forget they got the 3 points as soon as the full-time whistle goes. And these are the kind of results that give Valencia enough oxygen to survive. I think they come out after a full, they'll have had, 9 days off since the derby loss against Levante. I think they'll be fresh, they'll be motivated to come and prove a point, and they'll be playing a Granada team that will have had a full 6 days less rest than Valencia. I think this is pretty good odds for a Valencia win.
Yeah, and we'll go to Martin because he's on the Valencia train. He's just made a like a little resolution of stay away. Rampage on the chat. He's actually reminding you of that. Don't fancy you needed any reminding at all, Martin.
No, not at all, Flash. I broke my cardinal rule last weekend and I bet on Valencia to get a result against Levante. When will I learn? Don't bet on Valencia. They always let you down. They play well when you don't expect them to, and then they flop when you expect them to win. So stay well away from them. Just pass and move on.
Okay, let's pass and move on because we've got Villareal are going great guns in the Europa League and they will be dangerous. They're at minus 250, draw plus 370. Cadiz plus 1,000. We say every week that the pin has been well and truly burst. But how do you get the value of a Villareal win? Because Villareal, they are the laziest team when they're in front. They just do enough. They don't blow teams away.
Yeah, well, they won their last 3 games, which is pretty impressive. Beat Dynamo Kiev home and away, and picked up that big win over Eibar. The fans aren't overly happy with Emery, though, are they, this season? The league position's not great. Some of the performances haven't been that impressive. So they are the draw kings of La Liga, aren't they? I think they've drawn 13 times this season. They've only won
probably all from winning positions as well.
Yeah, they're good in attack and they play a pretty conservative brand of football. But yeah, they just seem to just squander a lot of points from good positions. And Cadiz have picked up 4 points from their last 2 games. They're still fighting down there. They're still scrapping against relegation. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because they've got poor odds on Villareal. So you have to give them a handicap. And you think they've played a midweek game. Cadiz are fighting for their lives. They've been off all week, which just sets too many alarm bells ringing for me. If you want to bet on Villareal, I would suggest probably going an under 3.5 goals because then you can get odds of minus 105, which does look pretty good. But I'm not feeling Villareal this week, I'm afraid. So I'm passing.
I'd say the way to probably go with this, especially with the again I use the word DNA with Villareal, Euan, is maybe Villareal -1 the draw. So Villareal to win the game, but only by a solitary goal.
Yeah, you could certainly envisage that, at least with the 85 minutes, and then who knows if they give away another late equaliser. This is one of those ones I've had my 2 big shouts so far this week. I'm not going too crazy and going Cadiz at plus 1,000, but what that does mean is I do think Villareal are just the value isn't there. I think they'll win, at least draw, but the value just doesn't seem to be there. And I think that's the thing. They draw too many games. I mean, you mentioned there, Martin, that they're not too happy with Unai Emery. One Villareal fan had said they're starting calling him Unai Empateri. Like, it's a pun on the Spanish word for draw because they've got the most draws in La Liga this season. And there's been so many times where they've had the lead. And as you say, Flash, they're too lazy. They think the job's done with, 5 minutes left of the game, maybe 5 minutes stoppage time, the other team comes back. So this could be a sort of trap game. We've seen Cadiz get a few late equalisers actually as well this season. So, I think the value there is just not there for Villareal not enough for me to bet on them. But they're the clear favourites in this one against a Cadiz side that have been pretty poor. Yeah,
just beware. I think that's the best way to go. Atletico -280 is the next game, Euan. Draw plus 375. Alaves at plus 1,200. There is going to be people, especially in the chat, that are going to go Villareal -250, Atletico 280, and stick them in a parlay. I don't see Atletico getting beat, but again, they don't blow teams away, Euan.
No, they don't, but I actually think this is going to be a good performance from them after the midweek disappointment. I think they're going to come out strong. They know, I think they're looking for that pit stop of the international break. They need it to just have a little regroup in their title challenge. And what better way to have one more game after your Champions League elimination, one game before the break, and it's at home against an Alaves side who have been awful since they changed coach, and it still looks like a terrible decision. And for this game, Alaves' two starting central midfielders are both suspended. So I think Atletico can come out, get a big win, finish this stretch of the season well, regroup during the break, and then come back for the final 10 games of the season strong. So I like Atletico to win this one. Again, the value just isn't really quite there unless you stick it in a parlay. But no, I do like Atletico to come and put out a bit of a statement after that disappointing game at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it's the mentality that quizzes me, Martin, because for the first 10, 15 minutes, I thought that Atletico were at it against Chelsea midweek. Then they go behind in the game and they didn't force it. They take off Suarez. They take off Carrasco. That's the big stage where them two boys should be complementing the like as João Felix and making it easy for Sal and Koke in the middle. They just didn't do it.
Yeah, chasing the game's not really their forte, is it, Atletico Madrid? They need to get an early goal and go one up and then just defend for their lives. That's how they thrive in European competition. And it didn't really work. It was almost like they were out Atletico'd by Chelsea. They just, they smothered them. Yeah, Thomas Tuchel. I mean, it was another masterclass from him, really. Totally changed up his tactics from the first leg. Chelsea played on the break, and Atletico couldn't deal with their pace. Obviously, Alaves is going to be a much simpler task. They have to pick themselves up from that defeat. It's never easy after losing in that fashion, and they've got to fly back. So, there's jet lag issues and stuff. But yeah, you would expect them to get the better of Alaves. They're sort of, I'm a bit worried for them that they're running out of steam now as we're entering the final stages of the title race. The Barcelona behind them are motoring ahead, and things are looking a bit nervous. I do think they will beat Alaves. Not quite sure how they're going to beat Alaves, and minus 280. I don't really fancy it, but maybe put them in a parlay.
Yeah, would you? I mean, no gun to your head, but would you go under 3.5 or over 1.5?
Over 1.5 probably, because like Euan said, they do need to give a bit of a statement win. They generally are better at home, even when the fans aren't there. Most of their draws do seem to come on the road against teams that you don't expect it against. So yeah, I probably would say 2-0, 3-0 or something like that. But then they've let a few people down in recent weeks, so I'd say proceed with caution.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see that some people may well go with Madrid, Sevilla, Atletico, and Barcelona in a 4-team parlay. And it's Barcelona who are in action in our last game. It's Sociedad plus 270, draw plus 290, Barcelona plus 100. Cannot believe the price of the visitors here, because I've got one team who have been absolutely magnificent all season, but they seem to be running on empty, Martin. And against a Barcelona side who I said 3 or 4 weeks ago, forget you Madrid, they are the team that Atletico should be worried about.
Yeah, indeed. They've got real momentum now, which is crucial at this time of season. Unbeaten in 17 league games, I think it is now, and most of them they've won. Obviously, Messi's been at the heart of their renaissance. He's obviously he wanted to leave in the summer, but he's too much of a professional to down tools. He's been fantastic. I mean, the 2 goals he banged in their last game were just phenomenal. And, I think his presence gives the teammates confidence. He's got some really good young midfielders around him now, suggesting that there is a slightly brighter future. I think, things are looking up a bit for the club with Laporta coming back in the presidential elections. There's a bit of a feel-good factor returning. Even Ronald Koeman seems to be getting his tactics right at the moment. So
balance. It's all about the balance, and they all seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, and the odds keep shrinking on them to win the title, but you can still get sort of 2.88 or something like that on a Barcelona lifting the title. So I think that does look quite interesting at the moment. But yeah, desperately disappointed with Real Sociedad last weekend. Just thought, coming up against the Granada team that had played in Europe and should have been tired, they just didn't really show up. It doesn't augur well for a game against, Barcelona, who are playing with such fire and passion at the moment. Yeah, I think the odds on an away win do look really good here. So yeah, I've gone for a Barcelona win.
Excellent. I'm just making sure that I remind myself to do the Huesca and over 2.5 at plus 520, Euan.
Yeah, definitely keep that one in mind. With this one, yeah, this is Martin's just outlined it perfectly. There is just a sense of optimism at Barcelona because of the results, because of Messi looking happy again, because of Laporta. Yeah, everything just seems to be going well. We know how it tends to go with Barca in recent years. It all comes crashing into a wall at some point, but I think that's for later down the line. So no, this is a good fixture for them. It's a difficult one. I mean, Real Sociedad they're a team that they don't finish their chances like they should. Isak is pretty good, but the other players just do not finish their chances. They create so much, but they're the kind of team that do keep the ball quite a lot, and sometimes that can leave you having a draw. Remember, they drew with Real Madrid just a couple of weeks ago, drew with Real Madrid early in the season as well. So they can step up for these sort of big occasions. But I mean, Barcelona, they had this thing for so many years. Don't know if you remember, but between 2007 and 2017, they had what they called the Anoeta curse. They didn't win there for 10 years against Real Sociedad. This was their bogey game. But that's changed. In the last 4 times they've visited, they've won 3 and drawn 1. So, yeah, this could be a nice way for Barcelona to finish the international break and then a bit like Atletico regroup and come for that final stretch. So the odds are pretty good, but just be wary of Real Sociedad because they do tend to play at their best in these bigger games and they let you down against the likes of Granada.
Okay, thumbs up, please press the blue button. We're at 34 thumbs up. I love to do it when it's nice and simple. 71 watching. Well, that's easy. It's 49%. Let's have a little look then at the official picks, please, Esteban. Okay, Atletico, Athletic Bilbao minus 115, Real Madrid minus 118, and Barcelona plus 105 for Martin. Euan's picks, Huesca and over 2.5 goals at plus 520. Look at that. I'm definitely doing that as well. Sevilla minus 110, Elche plus 480. Don't complicate it, but if you want to complicate it, or even just have a little bit of reserve, it's double chance at around plus 105. Valencia to win at plus 110 now. Flash is gone for the big guns. Sevilla plus 110. Madrid minus 125. Barcelona plus 100. And Athletic Club at minus 125. And I'm adding there, Esteban, you're not listening to me. Get it back up, please, mate. And I'm adding onto them 4. Huesca to win and over 2.5 goals at plus 520. I'm tailing Euan. I'm very happy to tail him as well. I think the 2-team parlay could be 2 of the big guns, Euan. Which one of them are you going to give me?
Yeah, I think Sevilla, we're all agreed on that one. So yeah, I like Sevilla for this one, and pretty much any of the big teams you could put in because I think they all have some value and they all have some winnable games. But I'll say Sevilla.
Okay. Martin?
I'll say Real Madrid with
Casemiro
anchoring that midfield and Benzema in good form. Good record against Celta Vigo as well. 13 games unbeaten.
Yeah, and Casemiro coming back as fresh as a daisy after having the last week off as well. Scoring goals, bossing games. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means I'll notify you that on the 5th of April when we return, it will be the Masters video, but also it'll be Champions League. On the 6th, it'll be Europa League, and then it's into full swing of the last leg of all the domestic competitions. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes, as it's my birthday tomorrow. Please be kind to everyone involved. Stay healthy. Enjoy it. Great to see you back, Euan. Good luck tomorrow, Martin. Have a great week off, everybody. You take care.